This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story.
Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Dollar Car Rental Studio. This is The Ramsey Show, where America hangs out to have a conversation about your money, your life, your relationships, your mental health. We talk about everything on this show. I'm John Deloney, joined here by Ramsey personality George Campbell, and we are taking your calls on everything. Give us a shout at 888-825-5225. It's 888-825-5225. George, how we doing, brother?
So good. This is my third show this week, and we're just getting started. It's our second time co-hosting this week. You realize that? It's like Groundhog Day.
Or it's just the state of America.
And if you're listening right now, you're going, this is a double blessing. George and John twice in a week.
Is that what they're saying?
That's what they call it.
Nope, they're trying to reach over for the scan button to see if anybody else is.
They haven't listened long enough to even hear this at that point.
That's exactly right.
It's fine. But we're here for you. We would love to answer your questions. And if you're a millennial or Gen Z and you forgot that there's a phone app on your phone, this is crazy. If you tap that and you dial 888-825-5225, you'll be patched through to Jenna, who would be happy to put you through to us.
And Jenna's a human.
She's a real person.
Yep, not an app.
If they could figure out a way to automate that, they probably would. Kelly would be like, I'm out of here, retirement, let's do this.
Yeah, probably not. I think Kelly would destroy the internets.
Fair.
The robots or whatever.
Fair point. What have you been up to, John? You've been traveling a whole bunch.
Yeah, we've been on the road.
You were hanging out with the minimalists not long ago.
Businesses, and yeah, we're all over the place, man. Talking about mental health and relationships.
And you've been heads down. I'm going to tease this. You've been working really hard on a new book.
Yeah. It comes out looks like in April, and I'm excited for it.
Me too.
The challenge is going to be trying to convince people that there's mental health and relationship challenges going on in the world right now.
I don't know. I don't think they need convincing, John.
They do not, I assure you. No, it's cool, man. If you could ever have a book coming out on a subject and the world threw you just an underhand softball pitch, man, this is the season.
Can you give us any level of tease? Because I know you have been very intentional about this book, making sure that it does connect, making sure that you say what you want to say. And it's a tough process writing a book.
Yeah. At the end of the day, Dave tells a story about he was coming out of one of his earliest financial peace courses, right? He was walking out of a building one evening and he had his book, and a woman thumbed through it and she looked at him and said, finally, a finance book that I can actually understand. And he said, that was the moment that I realized that people with all the letters after their names, they talk over people, they talk at people. And this woman was so grateful just to have a book she could understand. And she had just heard a conversation that she could understand. Not in a demeaning way, but in everyone tries to over-intellectualize everything. And so the guiding principle of this book was, I think what we know about mental health is nonsense. I think that the world has set us up to fail and then blamed us for it. And so this is finally a mental health and relationship book that people can understand, that actually will say, here's the challenge, not this and not this and not this. And so I'm tired of seeing people all over the country. Like, see, I've been on the road, I'm meeting with people, big groups, little groups of businesses, individuals. I'm tired of people saying, I'm broken, something's wrong with me, and getting plugged back into the matrix here. And it's time that we stop. And it's the same. Dave went after debt 30 years ago, and here we are, and I'm going after that.
Ooh, that's going to be so good. I'm real excited for that one.
It's time to change the tune. Well, I appreciate that, man.
And I can read it. It's on my level.
The font will be big for you.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. Size 16.
It'll be in 16-point font.
Well, you have an interesting story, John, because this is rooted out of your own personal experience.
Yeah.
On top of your education background, you've got 2 PhDs. You have many, many years, decades in this world, counseling people, trying to help in crisis situations, in people's darkest moments. You're the guy who runs in.
Yeah. And so, and there's a lot of inside baseball, right? And counseling and therapy and psychology has become this mystical world, and psychiatry and all the medicines and all the different types of counseling and thoughts, and I'm broken and I've got this diagnosis and so I can only do this and I can never do that. Nonsense. And so it's time to just turn the lights on, stop the music, and say, what are we doing, right? And we got to acknowledge, man, the world shifted underneath us real fast, right? Stuff that was nuts 50 years ago. Like, you never borrow money unless it was the last possible option, and you knew you were chaining yourself to something. Now, you and I talked last week. I'm going to buy a T-shirt on payments, brother. It's cool, man, right? And so the same with mental health. And here's a fun story. A few years ago, I was a part of a brain study we did out of some fancy university where they were giving us all this stuff and all these tests. And they took us in a back room, and they're like, all right, so we've computed this and done all this. And here's the findings, right? The 7 magical things for brain health. And I walked out of there holding this piece of paper, and I remember going, my grandmother specifically told me 6 of these when I was a small child. And she didn't go to college. And how have we spent $1 trillion, billion, gajillion dollars to loop back around to stuff that my grandmother told me? And so the lives that we're leading are nuts. They're out of control. The businesses that we're trying to run, the homes that we're trying to run, our marriages, our kid parenting, it's bonkers. And somebody's got to say, stop. And there's another way to do this, man. And really, it's rooted in this idea, dude, I'm worth more than that. You're worth more than that. My wife is worth more than that. My kids are worth more than that. And I'm taking these calls on my show every single day of people just melting. And they're doing the best they can with the tools they got. They're leading the best they can. They're trying to love their husbands the best they can. They're trying to parent the best they can. And the only tools we have right now is go faster and go harder and do it more. And it's not working, man.
So you tell people slow down and take control of what you can take control of.
Yeah.
And you talk about this a lot. 2 things you can take control of: your thoughts and your actions.
Not that you can. That's all you can.
That's all. That's it. That's the game.
That's the game. And it's disorienting because we want to flex and scream and yell and grab control of so much more. And you could do that for a while.
It's so much easier to focus on what's out of control, though, John. That's what makes headlines exciting.
Well, it makes me buy stuff, right? When I think, I could just get the right candle with the right scent and the right this and the right bathtub and the right shiplap and the right whatever, that's going to solve my, you know what I mean? Yeah. Or if I just get another girlfriend or another drink or the right workout program, then finally I'm going to be all right. And the deal is, that's nonsense, man. It's just nonsense. So it's just a reorientation. And I'm looking forward to getting it out there. But boy, I tell you what really sucks? Editing.
Man,
it's
I
the
can't
worst.
imagine. I have a lot of respect and love for editors out there. It's not a job most normal people should want. So I'm grateful for the ones that are out there doing it. Well, John, I want people to take control of a lot of areas of their life. I know you do too. So if you've got a question, give us a call. 888-825-5225. Maybe you need some affirmation. Maybe you just go, I think I know what I need to do. I just needed someone to tell me yes.
That's exactly right.
Give us a call.
888-825-5225. Yep, we were trying to jinx that with you. I thought we were going to
That would have been fun. We should try it together sometime.
Back again. But no, we're not doing that, James.
Let's try it. James is egging it on.
I refuse to be a part of this nonsense.
Fine.
But relationships, work, money, your home, parenting, give us a shout. 888-825-5225. See how I snuck that in there? We'll be right back on The Ramsey Show.
Stop paying your overpriced wireless provider and switch to Pure Talk. They use the same network as the larger providers for much less. For just $30 a month, get unlimited talk, text, and 6 gigs of data with no contract. The average family saves over $70 a month by switching to Pure Talk. Just go to puretalk.com and enter the promo code Ramsey to save 50% off your first month. Pure Talk, simply smarter wireless.
This is The Ramsey Show. I'm John Deloney, joined by George Camel. We are taking your calls on life and money and relationships and parenting. 888-825-5225. Let's go to Ethan in Detroit, Michigan. What's up, brother Ethan? How we doing?
Doing well. How are y'all doing?
Outstanding. What's up? How can we help?
So my wife and I have been talking. I really have a desire to build a house on some property. And my only issue is what would be the down payment, because from most of what I've researched for a construction loan, you need about 20% down, is all tied up in my current house's equity. My current house is I value probably around $250. On a great day, I go to $300, and I owe currently about $110 on it.
Okay, so you got about 140 plus in equity.
Yeah, so I'm curious, in terms of getting to where I can build a new house, what would be the wiser decision? Whether to sell this house and rent closer to where we want to build, and that way I can kind of manage it and I have that to put down, or if there's some other way I can leverage the equity in my current house without selling it until the next house is ready.
The word leverage it puts, I don't like it. The hair on my arm, it just
gives
sticks
George
straight up.
hemorrhoids. Hey, so you have
Thanks, John.
you have a plan. Why don't you trust yourself with that plan? I like that plan.
So the tough part with that one is looking at rent and everything. I'd be looking to go from my $500 a month mortgage to $1,500 to $2,000 a month rent.
Yeah.
And so I'm just, if it's actually going towards a construction rate, to put that from month to month, I feel better with that.
Sure.
But to go for a year or two, it hurts.
With the construction loan, when do you actually need to have that money? When do you need to give them that money?
I haven't talked to a specific banker yet, so most of this has been online research. But my understanding with the construction loan was up front, you would need that 20% down.
Right.
Okay, that's my question, is if that's the case or if it's later on down the road to where you could sell and make it a kind of a clean exchange when you move out of that house.
Have you already bought this land, Ethan?
No, I haven't.
Okay.
So it'd be in that with it.
This feels to me, and George, hop in here, this feels to me like a dream that's still a few years away. That you've looked at the equity and your house is doing pretty well because the market's lost its freaking mind, and you've got this dream of wanting to buy land and build your dream house or build a house on land, and there's a gap there. I have no problem, man. It's what me and my wife did. Of you sell this house, you rent for a while until you can land where you want to land. And I get the gap. I think what you're trying to have is have it all, which is you don't have 20% down to go ahead and start this process without selling this house, and you can't sell this house if you're not renting, and you can't rent if it's not. So you're going to have to give on something if you want to make this move right now. I'd love to see you save up like crazy with a $500 mortgage over the next year or two, and then sell your house. You risk not having as much equity in it, and you also, with that same risk, you risk that the land you're going to buy is going to be cheaper too. And so it's 6 one way, half dozen another, man. But it sounds like you're just a few years off, or you're trying to cram a future dream into a right now moment. But man, if you can pull the trigger and rent for a few years and get this thing done, George, my experience has been people way underestimate how long getting on land, getting the land perked, and getting the permits, and getting the
That's what worries me.
Sewer connected, and it turns into a year or two. Yeah, not 3 years, but a year or two. Yeah, it takes a while.
And do you know how much the land plus construction loan would cost right now?
I'm estimating probably around $500,000. So my wife and I make $200, $150 if she ends up staying at home for the next couple of years.
Okay.
We just had a daughter recently. My tough part is I bought a bankruptcy sale house that's 125 years old. I fixed up pretty much there. And to be honest, I'm just tired of it.
There you go.
Tired of looking at it.
You're ready for something new.
I knew. Yeah, thank you for telling us that part. Yeah, you're ready to get out.
Well, you got an incredible income.
Yeah.
And so if you guys can live, and you got a $500 mortgage, which tells me there's got to be tons of margin in your budget, right?
Mm-hmm.
You guys have any other debt?
Yep. We have one auto debt, which we have the money in the bank. I just have to figure out the tax situation for the end of the year to make sure I don't overdo it. I had to change jobs this year. And so with that, I had to buy 2 vehicles, and I was stupid on it, so I took it. But
well, let's
that's
clean up
really
all
the
this
only one.
debt.
We have the money in the bank. It's just I want to make sure I'm covered on taxes.
Well, you can connect with a tax pro in your area. We've got those all over the country. In Detroit, you can go to RamseySolutions.com. But I don't want you to be paralyzed by indecision here going, well, I got to figure out the tax. I got to figure out this. You make $200,000 a year, man. Put this thing to work. Pay off all this consumer debt. Start stacking up like crazy. And you could have this down payment for this land and construction loan within a year on your income.
And to piggyback off that, Ethan, I want you to sit down with an actual contractor who could build this house. Start getting some real numbers. Right now, you are on the internet, you're estimating here, you're estimating there. Sit with a real endorsed local provider, a real Ramsey trusted real estate pro that's going to sit down and say, here's what I can sell your house for right now. And then you can have some very real numbers to begin to create very real decisions and a very real timeline. Right now, it's just so amorphous. It's just spinning. Are you and your wife going to have 2 incomes or 1? And what's the extra margin in our budget? Well, we got this 1 loan. I don't know about taxes. You need some clear answers and some very clear specifics. Lucky for you, and this sounds like it's a pitch, but it's not. But it kind of is. Well, you can do all that at RamseySolutions.com. You can get tax info that you need. You can get a real estate person that you need. You can't get a construction guy there, but you can go find someone in your area that can help you with what is this thing going to actually cost. And then you can make a game plan. It feels like you're close, but not quite there. But man, I also get I'm so sick of looking at this house. I got to get out of this house, man. Yeah. All right, let's go to Ellen in Chicago. Ellen, what's up?
Hey, John. How you doing?
Hey, how's it going?
Well, I'm calling because my mom actually has dementia. She had gotten really sick with sepsis, and because she had a fall, it was not fun for about 12 hours. It had started her memory loss.
I'm so sorry.
So what I'm calling is that I'm big on family, and I'm actually struggling with my mother-in-law. When she came up, I had her stay at my mom's, because she was in assisted living at the time.
Sure.
And she had started asking for belongings of my mom, and I just honestly wasn't ready for that.
Yep.
So things had somewhat escalated just with her asking for things, and the pain is still there.
Yeah.
And my husband wants, they want to get together for Christmas, and honestly, I don't want to, but I also don't want our kids to be affected by it. But, I want them to see, have family time, but I'm really hurt by this.
Yeah, I can hear that hurt in your heart and in your voice. So you've got a family picture of what the holidays are quote unquote supposed to look like. You have the grief that you're dealing with and the everyday reality of dealing with your mom and her challenges. And then you've got a mother-in-law right in the middle of this. And you and mother-in-law got sideways because mother-in-law was being inconsiderate and pretty disrespectful. And now we're trying to figure out how to make all of this work. Let's do this. Hang on the line here. We're going to hold you over to a break, and we can dig into this a little bit deeper. Thank you so much for being brave and for letting us know what's going on and for sharing with us. Man, there's a lot going on, especially as we head into the holidays, George. It gets tough. I'm so grateful Ellen called. Hey, we'll be right back right here on The Ramsey Show.
If you're ready to get out there and find a job you love, then you need to hear this. Job hunting can be stressful and time-consuming, but my friends at ZipRecruiter have made the whole job search way easier. ZipRecruiter is rated the #1 job site in the U.S. by G2, and it's free. So how does it work? First, go to ZipRecruiter.com/Ken. Then create a free profile and let their technology do the hard work by finding and sending you jobs that are a great fit. And get this, ZipRecruiter pitches your profile to companies whose jobs match your skills and experience. If someone from that company likes your profile, they can personally invite you to apply for the job. So if you're ready for an easier job search, check out ZipRecruiter. Sign up for free right now at ZipRecruiter.com/Ken. That's ZipRecruiter.com/Ken. Sign up today, absolutely free, and let ZipRecruiter work for you.
This is the Ramsey Show. I'm John Deloney, joined by George Camel, taking your calls on life and relationships and money, how to get out of debt, how to fix your marriage. 888-825-5225. We are talking to Ellen in Chicago. And before the break, Ellen, I'm going to recap this. Let me know if I'm right or not. Your mother has been struggling with her health and recently was diagnosed with dementia, and she is currently staying with you guys. Is that correct?
She's actually staying with my sister.
Staying with your sister, okay. And your mother-in-law moved in, and she was...
No. She came up for a visit.
Oh, came up for a visit, okay.
And for the convenience of not staying for a hotel, we just had her stay at my mom's condo.
Okay.
Because at the time she was in a recovery center from her
from her fall
visits.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
okay.
because she had developed sepsis.
Yep. Okay, so your mother-in-law
So,
began asking, hey, she's not going to use this stuff. Could I have some of your mom's stuff? And in a really insensitive way, in a really insensitive time, that hurt you. And have you not spoken to your mother-in-law since? Y'all have just stayed apart from one another?
Yeah, I've been very short with her on the phone.
Okay.
Very short.
Tell me about how this hurt you. This has affected you in a way beyond just well, you're an idiot. This has hurt you. Tell me about that.
Because my mom's not dead.
Yeah.
And just what she was asking for were things that were very important to my mom.
Yeah. Does she know that she hurt you?
My mother?
Your mother-in-law.
Yeah, I think so, because for a while, my husband and I had gone outside to talk, and I just cried.
Yeah.
A lot. And when I came back in, she said, if you want me to, I'll leave early. Mm-hmm. And, of course, she said in front of the kids. I said, no. I mean, they want to see you.
How much of this hurt is related to the insensitivity of your mother-in-law? And how much of this hurt is just the weight that your mom's hurting and she is coming up on the end stages of a remarkable life?
Well, just to kind of keep things a little short, I had mentioned, I had mentioned to the lady who took the call that we had argued over something, and she had actually sent me to a box of the item that really, it's not going to make sense. I'm just trying not to gross out anybody, but she had done something I felt for spite. But how much is the pain versus, well, ironically, my mother-in-law lost her mom to Alzheimer's as well.
Yeah.
So I
sounds like I get that.
It's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot. That's exactly right. So here's when we kind of whittle it down. You get to decide, in partnership with your husband, what the holidays look like. And if you are in a place in your heart and your mind where your mother-in-law hurt you so deeply you don't want her around, then you get to choose that. All of us get to choose that. And that choice, that boundary, comes with consequences. It comes with kids that don't get to hang out with their grandmother, and it may be worth it. Or it may be, kids, I'm not going to be a part of it this year. Me and your father are going to go do something else. So be it. All boundaries are never clean. There's always some mess to them, and people run up against those boundaries to see if they hold. What I would love to see you do, if at all possible, is to sit down with your mother-in-law and say, this request hurt me. And maybe you didn't mean to, but I want you to know that it did. And I'm not ready to start giving away my mom's things. She's still alive. And from this point forward, I don't want to talk about my mom's stuff. When that day comes, then that day will come. But we're not there yet. And that's you taking ownership of the situation and getting in front of it, getting on top of it, and not letting it continue to drown you. Does that make sense, George?
Yeah.
So take ownership of that phone call. That phone call may be hard, or you can meet in person. Maybe you even have to write out what you're going to say. I've done that several times where I know I'm going to be emotional about a conversation, and I write down what I want to say. That way my words don't get all jumbled up. I don't lose perspective, and I say what I need to say in a respectful way, in a dignified way, and then let her respond. And my guess is she didn't try to hurt you. My guess is that she probably was being insensitive, but she had no idea she was going to cause this kind of pain, right?
Yeah.
And holidays are messy. Let's all remember, when it comes to holidays, man, we get to make a choice. Right.
We've talked about this, John, on the EntreLeadership podcast, coming up on a fine print episode on the holidays and spending. Families, boundaries, there can be so much that bubbles up, especially around this time, which this just happened to be some poor timing here as we head into the holidays. But bitterness, resentment, but you get to choose your response to it.
And Ellen, my guess is this may be the first Thanksgiving, Christmas without Mom. This may be the first Thanksgiving and Christmas where the reality of dementia and Alzheimer's is setting in on the family. It's so hard. It's so hard. And then it's easy to cast some of that pain and some of that resentment onto somebody who says the wrong thing at the wrong time, right? So again, do your best to unbraid what's hurt, what's real, it's all real, but where's the hurt lie? And then be direct about addressing who hurt you, and then let's all move on, let's heal, or let's make a boundary and let's move on from there, right? But I want you to take ownership of this, Ellen, and of all the different facets of this thing, and I know you can do it. I know you're hurting, but I know you can do it. Let's go to Stacy in Atlanta. Hey, Stacy, what's going on?
Hi. So I have a daughter who is a junior in high school, and we've been looking at colleges, and that means we're going to be filling out the FAFSA. And as I was researching all of that, she was gifted some stock by my father, her grandfather, back when she was a baby, and then those dividends were reinvested over time. And so she's looking with a small amount of money, like maybe $12,000 that she can use for college, or however she wants to use it, because it's just stock. But my question is to put her in the best position financially, like for taxes and for getting financial aid, should I plan for her to cash in that stock and pay it, use it in the first year? Do we do it over several years, or do we go ahead and put it into a 529 or some other kind of education plan just to put her in the best position to get financial aid when that time comes, I guess, next year or the year after?
So she's about 2 years away from going to college?
Yeah, so she'll be entering the fall of 2023.
Okay.
Good for you for planning ahead.
Yeah, that's awesome. So is she going to be able to go through college debt-free regardless of this stock? Or is this stock kind of hinging on, hey, are we going to be able to pay for college?
So as I'm looking at the colleges that she is interested in, they are around $20,000 a year. And so, no, she doesn't have, it'll be scholarships, grants, and then this.
Okay, and that's some hoping right now. We don't have any of that, and we're hoping that we're going to get some scholarships. Okay.
Correct.
I want her to choose the school based on what you guys can afford, come up with a plan together, and scholarships and grants can be a part of that. But if that falls through, we still got to have a plan B. So if I'm you guys, I'm going to cash out this stock, and what I'm going to do with it, like you said, put it into an ESA, a 529, let that grow tax-free. You're probably better off with a 529 if you've got a good plan in your state. You can look into that. You can connect with a SmartVestor Pro in your area at RamseySolutions.com. They can help you navigate this whole process, and that's going to let your money grow tax-free for 2 years, and she can use it on all of those education expenses. So that'll set her up nicely.
Okay.
I also want you to stay on the line. We're going to send you a copy of our friend Anthony O'Neill's book, Debt-Free Degree, and I want y'all to read that together. And can we get her a code to the documentary? Do those exist? Stay on the line. We're going to get you a code so that you don't have to pay for it. You can watch our new Borrowed Future. I want y'all to sit down as a family and watch this and let that impact what colleges y'all are going to choose to go to and how you take out debt. Triple 825-5225. This is the Ramsey Show, taking calls on life and money and relationships. Let's go to Laura in Portland, Oregon. Hey, Laura, what's going on?
Well, I was fired on Friday.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Actually, I'm looking forward to it being the best thing that ever happened to me.
I love it. What happened?
Well, there was a new manager that came in January, and she cleaned house pretty much, put everyone that had been there before her, on terrible, mindless, menial tasks, etc. And I was next. My head was on the chopping block on Friday. So I am 57 years old. I have finally grown out my full gray and white hair, so I look like Santa Claus. And now I'm up for looking for another job. And my biggest concern is that I had a great professional career all, after college, etc. And I had a horrible divorce that I went through. And long story short, my job history had some gaps in it. And this company I worked for 7 years. They're basically my only reference that I can use. And they fired me. So now I'm like, I've got no confidence. My faith is a little bit shaky, and I have outdated skills. So I've got the financial loss, the stress. I was trying to get debt free, and so any advice would be helpful.
Yeah, that's a lot. So do me a favor. Can you just inhale real deep and hold your breath for a second? Take a big deep breath and just hold it. 3, 2, now let it out. Can we just all say,
that seemed to help.
This sucks, I'm sorry.
It does. Yeah.
It's a lot. My friend Kid Coleman, we were talking about some research the other day that losing a job can be as devastating psychologically as losing a loved one.
Yes.
And you put on top of that, you're still wrestling with the divorce. How long ago was that?
That was 2006.
Okay, so that's still fresh in your soul there, though.
Pretty much, yeah. It was 2013. I had a nervous breakdown, basically, and got back into life after that.
There you go.
Yeah.
So this is your first big stress test since the last nervous breakdown of the things you learned about yourself and some tools, right? And here we are.
Good point, yes.
You're driving down the highway, and the car's starting to rattle on you a little bit, and you remember this. Your body remembers this. So what were you doing? What was your job?
I was working on a government contract doing scanning of Department of Human Services files, like child abuse cases, adoptions, etc. So I would prep all those files, removing staples, paper clips, etc.
Sure.
Put them into the scanner and then scan them, index it, export it, QC it, etc.
So what is this nonsense about you have outdated skills? You can't call our show and not tell us the truth. You know what you're doing. You can do cool stuff.
Well, I used to in my previous life. I was a trade show manager for a high-tech company and did trade shows all over the world, basically.
Okay, but hold on. Laura, you've told me two different things, and I want to...
Yes.
Can I call you out a little bit, even though we're in front of a couple dozen
You're welcome.
million people? You've told me about your past job, about who you used to be?
Yes.
About your past marriage, who you used to be?
Yes.
And I wanted you to put a period at the end of those sentences because we have to deal with today. And just because you used to run trade shows and then you went to preparing documents for child abuse cases and adoptions, there is no difference in importance. You may have made more money than one, and one may have been flashier, but both jobs are necessary. And the next job you get is going to be necessary. And just because some guy walked out on you and said something else is better than Laura, who's my new friend, by the way, is reflective of his actions, not yours. And one of the demons, one of the hallmarks of depression is we keep trying to pull the past back into the present with us. And we want to say, this is the way it's always been. This is the way it's always going to be. I'm going to do something else. I'm going to get involved in another job, another relationship, and then that's going to leave me too. And I want to shift that narrative and say, man, we got a new manager. Phooey. Next. Right?
Yes.
I'm freaking Laura with long, awesome gray hair, and I'm 57. I can do anything I want to. So here's the question. Not how do I get back to what was, because that's gone. The question is, what do I do next? So what do you do next? What do you want to do, Laura? You're 57. You're almost halfway. I can see you living to be 115, so you're about halfway. What do you want to do?
Well, ideally, I would like to find a job that pays my bills well enough that I can foster a puppy for a local organization that gives service dogs to our veterans with PTSD.
I think you can make that happen.
So I just need to support myself.
So you just want to afford a puppy?
Yeah, I want to foster a puppy for a veteran.
But what do you want to do with, like, your work, like your life?
I would like to get back into high tech or work in a marketing department. Probably not as the lead marketing person that goes out to see customers, but more behind the scenes with the marketing support, preferably for a high-tech company or a chemical engineering company.
So do you know anybody who works in high-tech or in chem that you could go sit down and have coffee with?
I do know a couple of people in high-tech.
Good. Then today and tomorrow, you are promising us, say I promise.
I promise.
That you're going to reach out to those people directly and say, hey, can we do coffee? And then you're going to say, management restructured, and here I am, and I want in y'all's building. How do I get in? And I will make copies. I can prepare documents, or I can run the whole show like I've done. I can do it all. I don't know a lot about high tech. I'm 57. I've got gray hair. They can just get over it because I'm coming full Laura.
Exactly.
Okay? So here's what I want you to do. Two important things. Number one, I want you to, every time the past comes up, I want you to take a deep breath and exhale and say, thank God it's today. And you may do that 1,000 times in your first day and 1,000 times in the second day, third day, fourth day. We're going to turn your dial not from the past, but to today. And we're going to begin looking forward. The second thing is George asked a great question. Like, what do you want to do? You want to go work for a high-tech company? That's fantastic. I'm going to reach out and start making some of those connections, like our friend, the proximity principle. I got to get in the door, and I know some people in those areas. Real quick, because we're up against the clock. You got enough money to pay bills for a couple of weeks? For a couple of months? Where are you?
About a month and a half.
Okay. You may need, Laura, to run down and get a job at a coffee shop to pay bills. And there's no shame in that game. You may need to run down to a local whatever, and they are hiring like crazy, and find a job that's going to pay you bills while you bridge the gap between where you are now and where you're going to end up. And you can get yourself that puppy. Stay on the line. We're going to give you a copy of our friend Ken Coleman's brand new book, From Paycheck to Purpose, Walking into the 7 Steps to Get the Career You Love. And by the way, it doesn't matter if you're 27 or 57. It's not too late. It's not too late. And, hey, we'll go ahead and get you a copy of his assessment so you can walk through and say, once I get into this big tech, big chem, what do I actually want to do? That'd be fantastic, right? Man, George.
That's big time. She's spirited.
Laura's a stud. She's going to make it happen.
Yes.
Make it happen. So that's 1 hour. Oh, what did you say?
I just want to make sure we get her that foster puppy, John.
We'll get that foster puppy, just not a French bulldog.
Oh.
Hey, thanks to James and to Kelly for running the show today. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back. This is The Ramsey Show.
It's Kelly, associate producer and phone screener for The Ramsey Show. If you would like to do your debt-free scream live on the show, make sure you visit theramseyshow.com and register. We would love for you to come to Nashville and tell Dave your story.
This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story.
Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Dollar Car Rental Studio, this is The Ramsey Show, where America hangs out to have a conversation about your money and your life, your relationships, your marriage, your parenting, everything. I'm John Deloney, joined here by Ramsey personality George Camel, 888-825-5225. We are taking your calls on everything. George, how we doing?
So good.
Good?
I'm just happy to be here, John. Just grateful today. As I hear that intro music, you're like, pinch me moment. You know, I'm sitting here with Dr. John Deloney hosting The Ramsey Show.
This is a big moment for you,
Huge.
huh?
Huge. And the second time this week.
And I'm not going to pinch you. That'd be rude.
No, you're really strong.
I disagree.
I can tell you work out. Maybe CrossFit.
Huge fan.
I know you love CrossFit,
Huge
John.
fan. Let's go to Jessica in Phoenix. Hey, Jessica, what's going on?
Hey, how's it going?
Outstanding. How are you?
So, you know what? I'm doing amazing today. Thank you.
Excellent. What's up?
So, as you guys know, maybe, I don't know if you're baseball fans, but the World Series is happening. And it's Braves versus Astros, which is my husband's all-time 2 favorite teams and his best friends. And I have the opportunity to potentially send them to a game. But the financial decision in that is what I'm trying to figure out, like, if it's a good choice or not, because we have money saved up. We have an investment started. The only debt that I have is my student loans. And so I'm just trying to get, like, a second opinion of, like, this may never happen again, the Astros versus, the Braves. So is this something worth saying, forget it, let's just do it anyways? Or what do you guys think?
Oh, you walked right into one. So, Jessica, I was born and raised in Houston. I have the Astros logo tattooed on my forehead. I just covered up with makeup just for the show. I even took a year off after the big cheating incident. Like, I sat down with he was 9-year-old son. We took a year off. Then we talked about redemption, and now we're back. So this is a big moment for me.
Right.
Here's what I will tell you that happened in my life. A friend of mine is an executive there with the Astros and said, I can get you discounted tickets. And they were, for me, $300-something. I had a whole plan. I was going to take my son. Again, this is never going to happen again. Here's my plan. I was going to drive him to school and then go past the school and be like, Dad, you missed it. And then I was going to flash him the tickets. We were going to hop on a plane, fly to Houston. It was going to be amazing. I was going to stay at a friend's house. I had it all planned out. And then I saw the cost of the tickets. And then I saw the cost of the flights. And then I started doing the math on the meals and the this and the that and the this. And so I'll tell you, in my house, I'm not in baby step 2 anymore. I'm blown past baby step 2. I don't owe anybody any money. And the cost for me even was not going to do it this year. We're going to watch it on big TV. We're going to have a blast. We're going to eat my own food. And we're going to make a big to-do of it. That's just me. And I don't know what kind of fan he is. He's not a bigger Astros fan than me, I promise you. Now,
I mean, I don't know.
I'm just assuring you, you're wrong. George, you help with the money thing.
Okay, Jessica, I heard you say a lot of things that were concerning to me in the very beginning. You said, okay,
you're a Braves fan. That's problem number 1.
Now, the sports things aside, okay, we can make amends on that part, John.
We cannot.
But on the financial side, you said we're investing some, and the only thing I just have this little student loan debt. I only have one debt, and you were very quick to kind of brush all the financials aside and get very excited. And I understand the excitement. But you said, are you currently investing right now? Is that right?
Well, yeah. So we have our Roth IRA set up, and then I sold my house, and so we have the money from the sale of that house set aside. And we've changed our lifestyle completely so we can continue to save. And so we sold everything, we renovated a fifth wheel, and we're living super, super cheaply.
Okay. Well, you said we're on the baby steps. Is it okay to buy World Series tickets? And in the baby steps, we teach that you only start investing once you have paid off all of your consumer debt and you have a fully funded emergency fund. So where are we at on that side?
I have a fully funded emergency fund, and I just have student loans. So that's the debt that I have.
But you have the cash to pay off the student loan today?
All but probably about 5,000 of it, yes.
So what happened with the sale of the house? I thought you made a ton of money off of this.
I didn't make a ton. I just made enough that I could pay off all of my student loans and my other debt. So I took care of all the highest interest debt, and that's what I have left.
Jessica.
Oh, no. We just keep running into a wall.
First, you're a Braves fan, and now this?
Okay, hold on. But we don't teach you to pay off the highest interest debt first. You got to do the debt snowball so you feel the progress, so that the next time the Braves and the Astros in the World Series, you're out of debt. And you can actually do this and do it with confidence and not set yourselves back. So how much is left on the student loan debt?
I have $50,000.
$50,000, and how much do you have in cash in your savings account, checking account?
$55,000.
Okay, and part of that is your fully funded emergency fund.
Correct.
And so you're doing the Jessica plan where we go, all right, we're gonna get the fully funded emergency fund, but keep the student loan pet around while we invest in the Roth IRA.
And we're gonna watch a lot of HGTV, so we have a renovated fifth wheel, so we are living cool. And doing our own plan.
Here's the deal, Jessica. I want to send you guys to the World Series. I wish I could just say it on air. We're going to send you guys. We're not doing that. But here's what I can tell you to do. I can tell you, congratulations, you could have a paid-off student loan today, and you could have $5,000 in a savings account, which is going to get you towards a fully funded emergency fund. And to do all of that, we're going to pause investing if this is going to take any more than a few months, so that we can speed up this process. You've been doing a lot of nice, good things, but we're just doing them out of order, and you haven't been seeing the progress that you could have been seeing if you had done all this in order. So on the sports side, how much? I'm just curious, how much is this whole thing going to cost if you did this? The game.
There's different options, but I have also done the numbers like you guys did, and I would say that if I was going to send his best friend with him too, it would be about $2,000.
So you have $50,000 in student loan debt, but you have the opportunity to send them on a $2,000 trip.
And your trailer that you live in will lose that much in depreciation over the weekend.
But who knows if they'll ever play each other again? That's where I was at.
Who knows if we all live on space one day? Here's what I do know. Every single month you're sending your payment to a lender, and they're stealing money from you while you have the money sitting in your bank. So I want this to be a never again moment where you say, never again will my husband's two favorite teams be in the World Series, and we can't afford to do it.
Hey, I actually, George, I think you're right. Here's the thing. This is me being honest with you, Jessica. If you had paused your investing, sold your home, and you were renting a small house and not bought a fifth wheel, then you watched a bunch of YouTube clips so y'all could learn how to redo it and be cool and probably post about it, you would have plenty of cash to send your husband to the World Series. And that's a great gift. I love it. I don't think it's a smart financial movement.
the memory of paying off this debt and being debt-free forever is going to outlast whatever team wins the World Series. I'm just saying it right now.
Be debt-free today. Watch the game tomorrow on a big screen. This is The Ramsey Show.
What makes our show unique is that we genuinely care about our listeners. We're intentional about choosing the best advertisers to recommend. Blinds.com is no exception. They offer high-quality window treatments at unbelievable prices, and they make it simple to shop blinds, shades, and interior shutters with easy online ordering, free shipping, and a guaranteed perfect fit. Go to Blinds.com and take advantage of this week's special savings.
If you've been paying attention to the real estate market, you've noticed that competition between buyers out there is intense, in part because the inventory of available housing has been hitting all-time lows. Now, when inventory is low, it simply means there are more buyers buying than sellers are selling, and that turns the pressure up on everyone. Buyers want to snag the right house, sellers want to accept the right offer. This is not amateur hour. Low inventory is here to stay. To win in this market, you need a pro by your side, and that's why we find, vet, and endorse top real estate agents across the country called endorsed local providers to help you buy or sell. Our agents have years of industry success and refuse to compromise your financial goals no matter how tough the competition is. Good news, you can instantly connect with an endorsed local provider in your area today. Just go to RamseySolutions.com/agent to find a Ramsey trusted agent near you. That's RamseySolutions.com/agent. And I did this, George, and my agent was incredible. She's here in Nashville. She taught me a thing or two. She sat me down once or twice and said, I need to teach you about reality. And she was awesome. Never compromised on the things that we really wanted and needed in our budget. Man, she was awesome. She got, hey, I got to put this much down. This is how much house. She was incredible. She stuck with us for month after month after month. Couldn't have been a better experience.
I love to hear that. A
awesome.
lot of people are just hiring their buddy from college, just getting into real estate, and you can't do that in this market.
Don't. All right, let's go to Sean in Las Vegas. What's up, Sean?
Hi, how are you guys?
Outstanding. How are you?
I am grateful to be here. So I'm really glad I actually found you guys' number to call you. I have been battling with this. I feel like I'm battling with his blessing. We are currently on baby step 2. But my father has gifted us a house, me and my husband, which is awesome, right? It's like, how many people can say that? But so we're almost out of debt, and then we'll obviously be working on baby step 3 and getting our emergency fund. But I think we lose our vision after that for what's next in our family. And so we were thinking about getting a second house over where my husband's from, which is, he's from Washington, but I really don't want to pay the taxes of Washington if we got a second place. So we like the idea of 20 minutes across the river into Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. And so we would like this. We like the idea of getting another house, but then we don't know how, based off of the Dave Ramsey suggestions, do we get a loan on a house, a 15-year fixed mortgage? Do we try paying it outright? It's technically considered an investment property because it's not our primary property. So I think we just kind of feel lost on what to do with our financial situation in that.
So would you rent this house out, or are you just going to stay there whenever you guys are in town?
Yeah, so we do both. I was thinking of Verboing it and Airbnb-ing it, and also going into and obviously staying there once we're in town.
Okay. So this
and
house.
My husband has off like 4 days. He's off 4 days a week, which is awesome.
Whoa.
So we could go.
How do you get that job?
Yeah.
I want that job.
I know.
Dave makes me
a
work
lot of
every
nurses
day.
have that job.
So he works 3 days a week.
Technically 3.5, but yeah, 3 days a week, three
Okay.
full days, 3 12-hour
I'm
shifts.
gonna talk to Dave about this.
Yeah, I don't know if we can score that one, John.
100% chance.
So
we can.
tell me, Sean, what's your household income?
We're at about 90,000.
90,000. How much debt do you have left?
Like 4,000.
Oh, okay. We're gonna get rid of this debt. Like what? This month? Next month?
No, like by February for sure.
Why is it gonna take till February to pay $4,000 off?
Well, because we also pay property taxes, which are going to be due in January.
So
and
does
then
all
we
of
have
America.
Holidays. I know, so does all of America. But then we have holiday and our holiday budget. We're trying to get people Christmas gifts, and that's like a $500 budget. I have a child who is 3 months old, and I have to make a homemade formula for her, and it's really expensive. Unfortunately, like she can't handle regular cow's milk, so I have to make her a homemade goat milk formula.
Tell me this: what's your husband doing the 4 days he's off?
Well, he's also in the military, so he does military stuff once a month. He's in the reserves.
But what does he do those other days?
And then the other days, he's in school, finishing up his bachelor's, which he's getting it done for free.
Oh, nice.
Because he's in the military.
That's awesome. Well,
so he's
thank him for
tied
his
up.
service.
However, yeah, you're welcome. Thanks. You're welcome, I guess. My husband, he's pretty great. For me, I've been to think about what I can do. I'm trying to actually start up my own business on top of it. I'm working from home, and so when I have the time, I am trying to start up.
So you guys are you paying a mortgage right now? Are you in a house? You're renting?
No, you got a free house.
You're already in the free house?
You got a free house.
Yeah.
So you don't have a mortgage payment. I'm still confused.
We have no mortgage payment.
You have no mortgage payment, and you have no margin.
I know, and we have no school debt. We have no.
Are you guys doing an every dollar budget right now?
Yeah, I've been using the every dollar budget for like 3 years.
I'd be going through that budget with a fine pick comb going, where is all this money going? You make $90,000 and you don't even have $1,000 in margin to put towards this debt.
So that's new. So the $5,000 is or this $90,000 budget is just started this month. My husband just got this new job.
Okay.
So this should speed up
This will speed up things.
It'll speed it up.
Yeah.
But then what also recently cut off the bills why we're in the situation right now too is we used to have 2 cars. We had a truck and then we had a 4Runner, and I had a loan on my 4Runner and I owed like $16,000. And I bought it new. Well, that's of course what we do. People do that, especially with you don't even have a house payment. You can. This is like your house payment.
Hang on. Let's get to let's answer your original question. We're going to run up against the clock, and the people who are saying that, they were right.
Yeah. So as far as your actual question, yes, it's not. You can definitely get a mortgage. I would do it the Ramsey way, 15-year fixed rate.
Yeah.
Put at least 20% down. If you guys can cash flow the whole thing and pay cash, that's amazing. But I'm not going to be mad at you if you do it this way. Don't look at it as an investment property right now because we have no idea if this thing is going to bring in $1 yet. Just look at it as we want a second home. We want to do it the right way. This is going to be our only mortgage payment. But guess what? You guys can't even afford life with no mortgage payment right now.
Yes.
So that's what I'm more concerned about.
Yeah. You're dreaming about a second house, and you've got a 3-month-old. You've got a husband who's working here. He's got a full-time job, and he's in the military, and he's finishing a bachelor's degree. Well, I want you to slow down and enjoy right now. Slow down and enjoy this second, and get everything paid off, and then get a fully funded emergency fund, and then start wondering, I wonder if we could buy a second house.
And visit a few times and just rent a place. Do a verbo when you're in that place. And then eventually, maybe one day, 10 years from now, you go, all right, we're here enough that we want to buy a place here. That's what there's just a lot going on here in your life. And like John's saying, I think slowing down is going to help you guys figure out how to budget properly. What does this new income look like for us? What does the situation for our daughter look like? I think there's too much going on right now for you guys to even be thinking about buying another property.
Yeah, put that in that'd be cool one day. I have a bunch of things like that it would be cool one day, right?
Like making an album with me.
Probably not, but
Okay.
going to a World Series game, that would be cool. I'll make an album with you if it's a rock rap album.
Rock rap.
I'll
All
be
right.
in for that.
I'm in.
Not one of your sad acoustic records.
All right, back to Sean's point. Hey, that is a blessing, Sean. That's awesome. Get control of your money so it can work for you, not against you.
And don't let the future, this panic, should we do this? That is 10 years down the road. Let's enjoy today. The debt-free stage here in Franklin, Tennessee. Alexa from Staten Island, New York. And that can only mean one thing. What is it?
I'm debt-free.
That's incredible. Congratulations, Alexa.
I'm so glad she didn't scream at John. I was worried she's going to
Yeah,
get
that
out of
would've-
the back.
I almost
Save the moment.
I almost set you up to screw this whole thing up, and I've got a gift for that. Okay, so walk us through it. How much have you paid off?
$39,557.89.
Woo!
Not that I'm counting every penny, right? Excellent. How long did it take you?
13 months.
Woo! You were getting after it. Okay, and how much were you making during this time?
$75,000.
You
year.
went all in, huh?
Yes.
That's fantastic. All right, so tell us what happened.
So in late 2019, my brother and his wife were debt-free, and they bought a house, and he was telling me, all debt is bad debt, and you should work on paying off your debt. And I was like, yeah, but, it's good debt, and, I was getting an education and all of these things. And then a few months later, I was taking a bus trip to go visit one of my friends, and then actually on the bus driver was telling me about his story and how he changed his life, and he paid off his house, and he went back to school, got an education, and was starting to become a financial coach, and it turned his daughter's life around. And I was like, wow, I should really look into this Ramsey thing and see what it's all about, and at least hear it out. And then on the way back from that trip, I started looking into the Total Money Makeover, and just listening to the audiobook and listening to podcasts, and then just hearing people's stories and realizing it was possible. I was like, let's give this a try.
So that's when you know the universe is speaking to you.
What is going on in your life?
When your friends and family are talking, and then the bus driver turns back and says, have I got a deal for you?
Like your barista, your mailman, they're all going, yeah, Dave Ramsey. You got to check this thing out.
I've done a lot of debt-free screams, and I've never heard somebody convicted by their bus driver. And so how did you end up in that conversation?
I don't know. We were just talking.
He just said, ma'am, have I got a story for you?
I don't know. I guess I was just talking about life, and he was like, yeah, just all these great things are happening. So.
Wow. So what do you do for a living?
I'm an engineer for a cosmetics company.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
That sounds like a dream job.
Oh,
Okay.
so you engineer the cosmetics?
No. I work on projects for the company to help with optimization. I'm an industrial engineer.
Wow, fantastic.
So there was so many $10 words in there, John. You got 2 PhDs. You understood it. Optimization, engineering. We get it. Okay. So what type of debt was this $39,000?
So it had student loans, car loan, credit cards, and a phone.
Wow.
And a phone.
Yeah.
All right. So you get done with the conversation with the bus driver. You sit down and have your total money makeover moment. in the desert, and then you go home and you actually look at your debts and your budget. Walk us through that moment.
So I wrote everything out, and I was kind of shocked at how much it was. But once I broke it down one by one, it was easier to see how manageable each one was. $200, $2,000. It was just in smaller chunks versus $39,000 all at once. And then I just sort of worked on it little by little. And I think what was really a pivotal moment for me was like 3 months in when I realized I'd paid off like all the credit cards and the phone bill and that first student loan. And I was like, wow, like this is actually happening and I can do this.
You saw the light at the end of the tunnel. You were like, this is working. Oh my gosh. And you're an engineer, so you're very mathematical. You're like, okay, if I just do this, then do this, and if I pay this off, I'll have this payment freed up, and you started to see the power of that debt snowball. That's amazing. So what sacrifices did you make? What did you cut expenses? Did you add income?
You're a fancy engineer. Surely your friends are like, what are you doing?
So I cut out streaming services. I was signed up for like 3 different ones, and I was like, no more.
How old are you?
I'm 25 today, actually.
Oh my gosh.
Number 1, happy birthday. Number
Thank
2,
you.
I've never heard someone under the age of 30 cut out streaming services and still be able to breathe. Are you okay?
Yes.
How did you know what happened in the Queen's Gambit?
Yes, social media and maybe some account sharing.
Oh, okay.
Wow. That's amazing. Wait, so you said any expense that I don't absolutely need is gone.
Exactly.
Whether it's $10, $15, $20, what were any bigger sacrifices where you were like, all right, I'm going to have to shave this out for a few months or a year?
Clothes shopping.
Whoa.
I really love new clothes, and I was like, no more. I have good clothes in my closet, and
you went shopping in your closet.
Exactly.
And it was free. That's great. Brilliant. That's incredible.
There's no way a 25-year-old cut off streaming expenses and clothing purchases. That just sounds
very impressive.
Yes.
You can do it when you want it badly enough. So what was the why driving all of this? I mean, you kind of stumbled into it, but there had to be a why.
I think just growing up and I guess poor and just realizing and watching my mom, she was a single mom, struggle, and just realizing that's not what I wanted for my life. And I knew I wanted to like learn and grow and make her proud as well. And I think just as I was thinking about my future and building wealth and eventually wanting to buy a house, just thinking about I can purchase these small materialistic things in the moment, but is it worth losing out on wealth and building wealth for larger companies that are already wealthy, and just thinking about, generational wealth, my future, and just my overall happiness as well in the future.
How does it feel to be debt-free?
Feels great.
Yeah?
Yes.
On your 25th birthday, you realize you've won.
Yes.
It's incredible. Incredible. Well, George and we're so proud of you. I wish I could go back and talk to my 24-year-old self and say, what are you doing?
Here's what I want to know. What would you say, there's a 25-year-old who's celebrating their birthday today, and they're going, I'm not cutting out Netflix, and I'm not going to stop shopping, but I've got this pile of debt, student loan, credit cards, car loans, you name it. What do you say to that person? What is the key to getting out of debt?
I think the key is just knowing your why and knowing your goals, but I think it's just knowing that your income is your biggest wealth building tool, and you can either choose to give it away to Netflix or whatever else is entertaining you for the moment, but those things are fleeting, and Netflix will always be there, and you can always go watch something later. But I think just really focusing on your goals and just that consistency, and then just using other things to fill your time. You can go outside. I did plenty of girls' nights in instead of going out for dinner and drinks and stuff. So
John's a big fan of going outside.
Alexa, you are an inspiration.
You're his favorite right now.
Everybody. And give me one more time. How long did this take you to pay off?
13 months.
Wow.
13 months.
I see some people that are sitting next to you.
Who's your biggest cheerleaders?
Who are these people?
So these are my friends, Ebony and Alexis. And in addition to them, my mom was a really big cheerleader. My boyfriend, and I also want to give a shout out to my FPU coordinators, Jovan and Paul. They were definitely integral in helping me stay motivated throughout the process.
And the bus driver? What was it?
I don't remember his name.
You don't remember his name.
You remember the stories,
He's
John.
lost to the ether.
You remember how people made you feel.
So Alexa from Staten Island, New York, paid off $39,500 in 13 months, making $75,000. With some support from her friends, family, and the bus driver. Count them down, your debt-free scream.
3, 2, 1. I'm debt-free!
What an inspiration, John. And we forgot to mention, we've got some gifts for her today as well.
Oh, we do have some gifts for you. I should have told you that. We've got a copy of Total Money Makeover that you can give. You can be on the bus next time and hand it to somebody sitting by you on the bus. You can pay it forward like it was paid forward to you. And we got a copy of the Legacy Journey, because you're only a quarter of the way done, and you have a long legacy to build. You've changed your family tree. You've inspired people around you. It's incredible.
I love
George.
Look at this.
We don't talk to a lot of 25-year-olds.
I feel good about the future, which, by the way, someone thought I was 22, so I want to let them know that it's very kind.
You're 23 and a half.
I'm 32, but I love seeing people in their 20s who are saying, you know, I'm not gonna wait till my 30s and 40s and 50s to get rid of this debt in my life, to figure this stuff out. She decided, I'm going to leave a different legacy, and it starts now.
And the word that kept coming to mind when she was talking was ownership. Like, this is mine to move forward. I went and got a great degree. I am doing great professionally, and now I get to own what the next 75 years of my life look like.
That's powerful. When you realize, oh, I can take control. It's mine.
It's mine.
It's my life. I get to decide.
I'm in the driver's seat. I get to drive, and Alexa can drive.
She's driving.
We'll be right back on The Ramsey Show.
Our question of the day comes from Blinds.com. Blinds.com's 100% satisfaction guarantee means even if you mismeasure or pick the wrong color, they'll remake your blinds for free. You get free samples, free shipping, and with the new promos they run every month, you'll save even more. Use promo code Ramsey to get the best deal. Today's question comes from Sydney in Nebraska. I'm 24, and I have a bachelor's in graphic design. I'm debt-free, so I've been very fortunate compared to many in the financial department. However, my work life has proven immensely unstable because my college courses never taught me how to work with customers.
Oh.
I've had 3 jobs where I was let go due to it, quote, not working out, or the company did not want to train me. I'm currently on my 4th job, which isn't in the field that I love. I come to work on time, I stay late, and I work hard, but outside of a cashier job in high school, none of my adult jobs have lasted over a year. I love graphic design, but I feel like I found my passion only to discover I'm not qualified to actually do it because I can't connect with people. Do you have any pointers on what else I should do? I feel like I'm in a death spiral and I don't know how to get out of it.
Ownership. Ownership, Sydney. In this one little paragraph, you blame your school for not training you. You blame your company for not training you. You say, I just can't do that. You can. George, I see this a lot. Well, they should have done this and they should have done that, and I would have, but they just couldn't. Ownership. You've got your big girl and big boy jobs now. You learned this. You can connect with people, Sydney. You don't want to. First time you get fired for not being able to do something, you got a choice, George. Do I want to learn this thing or not? You said, I don't want to. I'm going to take another job. They fired you for that same reason. So then you said, I'm not going to work on it. I'm going to take another job. And I'm going to blame my school. I'm going to blame my company. It's on you. Ownership. There's a great book called Abelard to Apple, George. I think it's DeMillo. Is that DeMillo? DeMilio?
Close enough.
Yes. Talks about having, he used to be a leader in one of the technology programs at Georgia Tech, which is one of the highest ranking technology programs in the country back when he wrote this book. And he started having his tech workers, or his tech students, not take advanced whatever for seniors, but he had them take a theater class, a counseling class, so they could learn how the story arc works. It could learn to interact with clients and with people. And so if you're out in the world and you've got a job, go sign up for a local theater. Go see a counselor and say, I'm struggling with human connection. Can we practice some things here so that I can learn how to do these things? Relationships are a skill. Human interaction is a skill. It's not like, oh, you didn't learn it. And that goes for any job skill that you show up for at your first job you don't have. I have a crazy, I'll never forget I turned into a performer for a residence hall. Probably $20 million project. I turned it on a Word document. And I'll never forget the president, who's a friend of mine, I handed it to him on a Word document. And he was an accountant. He's got a wizard brain when it comes to numbers. And I'll never forget, he looked at this Word document and was like, what is this? It was like had Comic Sans font or whatever. And the way he was just so dismissive of it, because it was obnoxious. I had to hire a fourth-year accounting major to sneak into my office on Wednesday afternoons and teach me Excel, because I had a skill that I needed to learn to do my job right. And so whatever it takes, learn the skill, man.
Yes. Yeah, and that's one of those things. You're going to have to work with people for the rest of your life. Unless you find a remote job in a cave where you can just design, that's the only way that's going to work out. But if I'm you, I'm picking up a copy of How to Win Friends and Influence People. I'm picking up a copy of Pat Lencioni's Ideal Team Player, where he talks about how you have to be hungry, humble, and smart. And the smart is not intellectual, it's people smart.
And that's why you say books will help. This person has got failure on, Sydney's got failure on top of failure on top of failure. Needs to get out there with some real people and start interacting, right? This is a skills deficit. This almost isn't a, doesn't feel like a knowledge deficit as much as a, dude, you got to get out and start doing
And what happens,
stuff.
John, is this creates so much bitterness and resentment over years where you go, I'm a really good designer, but the lesser designers, they're getting all the opportunities.
Yeah.
And that's not fair. And it's because they understand the full picture.
The book's on the screen? Oh, gotcha. Yeah, there we go. Yeah,
There we go.
Yeah, Abelard to Apple by Richard DeMillo. Yep. Yeah, it's a great book, and it's about higher education and how higher education is spinning and turning. But one of the things, it's a great author, a great book. But all I have to say is, Sydney, take ownership and look at the things that your bosses are continuing to tell you. You don't have these skills. You don't have these skills. You don't have these skills. And you can blame them for not teaching you, or you could just go get the skills.
Here's what you say.
Learn how to do it.
Thank you for that feedback. And then you go learn that stuff and you take it to the next job and they go, wow, she's really good with people. That's just natural. No, she worked at it.
Really hard.
But you can get better at this stuff.
Good grief. All right, let's go to Lori in Kansas City, Missouri. Hey, Lori, what's going on?
Hey, guys. First, I just want to tell George congratulations on becoming a personality. I'm really excited for you.
Oh, thank you, Lori. You're the first one to do that.
And, Lori, they let me in,
right.
and so the bar is pretty low.
That's true.
I mean.
But I appreciate that.
No.
Thank you so much.
I think you're both great. So I have a weird dilemma. I bought my house last year in cash, so I think I'm technically baby step 7.
Heck yeah.
What do you mean you think? You're either a millionaire or not. Are you a millionaire?
No, not yet.
But she's on baby step 7. She's got a paid-for house.
All right.
You bought in
Yeah.
cash because you're a baller.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah, so I'm still behaving like I'm in baby step 2, and I'm afraid to spend my money, and I'm afraid of making the wrong move. I say, I hesitantly say 7 because I'm still saving for my daughter's college.
Sure.
So I got that on my radar, and then I own a home, and so now I want to fix my fence because it doesn't work. And then I know I have a roof that I have 3 to 5 years left on it, and then I have a car that has 217,000 miles, so logic tells you any day it might start to go out on me.
The
but
sky
I'm
is
just
falling.
Frozen. Yeah, I'm just hoarding my money right now, and I won't spend it. So I'm hoping you can help.
Yeah, Lori, who taught you this?
Who taught me to hoard?
No, somebody taught you 2 things. Number 1, it's all coming down at any moment. Be ready. And somebody taught Lori, you can't trust yourself. Who taught you that?
Myself, I guess.
Come from you? You taught yourself that?
Well, maybe my parents.
There we go. So here's the thing. Trust Lori. It's not all coming down. You just paid for a house in cash.
How did you even do that?
Hustled hard. I became debt-free December 2017, and then I just kept saving. I mean, that was the same mentality that caused me to pay for the house in cash. Is I didn't trust myself to buy a home, and what if I lose my job, and all these.
You didn't do it out of fear. You didn't do it out of excitement to pay for house and cash. You did it out of fear.
I did.
Well, the end result is good.
Yeah, the end result's good.
So, what is your household income? I'm just curious.
My gross is $64,000 now.
So you have $64,000 gross, and after taxes, you get to keep every single penny, right?
Yeah. And I should also confess that I still do a side hustle, and it's crazy because, like, all my money from my full-time job goes into one bank account, and then my side hustle money is actually what I'm living off of.
Whoa.
When I don't need to.
So can you cash flow all of these repairs?
Yeah.
Easy. Hey, Lori, this isn't a money problem. You know that, right?
I know. Yeah.
This is a heart problem, and what I'll tell you is, the longer you grind in this, there comes a point when your body will begin to break down. You can only be gazelle intense for so long before your body says enough's enough. I can't run this hard. And this may be a long-term challenge that you struggle with for a long time, and it shows up in anxiety in other places or in catastrophizing in other things. You do clearly do it with your money, or it shows up in OCD in other places, or maybe all three. This may be something you need to sit down with a counselor and say, for the first time, I'm worthy of being trusted. And it starts with the person I see in the mirror. Or it may just be, spend some money, take yourself out to dinner, go on vacation, fix your roof. You've earned it. You're awesome, Lori. It's another hour in the books. I want to thank James Childs and Kelly Daniel, the producer and associate producer, and George Camel and you, America, for sticking with us. We'll be right back here on The Ramsey Show.
Have a friend or family member that needs a daily dose of Ramsey advice in their life? Let them know about the Ramsey Call of the Day podcast. It's a quick hit of advice about life and money in under 10 minutes. Check out the Ramsey Call of the Day podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story.
Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Dollar Car Rental Studio. This is The Ramsey Show, where America hangs out to have a conversation about your money, your relationships, and your life. I am John Deloney, joined here by my friend George Camel, and we are taking your calls on pretty much anything. And some would say the advice is worth what you pay for it.
Venmo us.
Yeah, you can.
If it's good advice, tip your bartenders.
That's because I'm not Venmo. I don't even. Actually, this morning, George, my wife said, we have to pay somebody, and I texted her. Somebody texted me a Venmo thing, and I texted her, and she said, it's the 21st century. I need you to have this. And
John is just John and 86-year-old grandmothers who are still writing checks at the grocery store.
I actually...
You are so, like, anti-tech and privacy nerd.
I have a checkbook, actually. It's not that I'm anti. I don't know.
You know how mad I get when I have to write a check, John? I'm like, come on, what is this? The 1950s? I got to find my checkbook?
I saw a blog recently that just was talking to young people about how to write checks.
That's
how
thing.
It works, and I thought, oh, no. I'm officially an old man.
Yeah.
That and some of my favorite childhood music is now on the oldie station.
That's how you know it's happening.
And
John.
I'm only 27. That's so weird. That's so weird. Anyway,
Yikes.
What are you going to do about it?
Yikes. Yeah, we actually included that in our high school curriculum. This is not a joke. We included a segment on how to write checks. Because students have no idea.
How is nobody talking? Everyone's talking about inflation and
John,
housing prices.
They don't know how to do laundry.
How are they not talking about check writing being a thing of the past?
We're doing the Lord's work over here at Ramsey Solutions.
That's the sign of the apocalypse. Unbelievable. 888-825-5225. It's 888-825-5225.
Speaking of crazy, John, let me tell you, this article came by my desk As it does. And here's the title to this article. Man spent $150 eating every meal at Six Flags since 2014 to pay off student debt.
That's not great. You know what I love? I love a good loophole. This guy found a loophole in the Matrix, and he exploited it.
Oh, a California man named Dylan shelled out a measly $150 a year to eat every meal at Six Flags Magic Mountain in order to save thousands, pay off his student loan debt, got married, and purchased a house in Los Angeles. And that's the loophole. He found out $150 a year. Year-round access to Six Flags includes parking and 2 meals a day. So he went every single day for years and got these free 2 meals a day.
Dylan, genius!
Unbelievable.
I love a great loophole.
That's a killer deal, man.
Yeah. The other killer deal will be
his health.
Yeah, when he's 60 and he goes to have his heart examined, they're going to say, this only could happen if you had Mountain Dew and if you just had nothing but soda and shenanigans for about 30 years. And he would say, well, have I got a story for you?
He talks about this. The first year menu was kind of lame. All you could get was burgers, fries, pizza, breadsticks, or a pathetic sandwich and a refillable soda cup. It wasn't healthy at all, which was rough. So clearly he knew this, but he said to his digestive delight, Six Flags began introducing healthier delicacies to its menu.
I don't know that I'd call any of that product a delicacy.
This whole article feels like an ad for Six Flags' new menu. That's what it is.
Well, for $150... For all of your food for a year.
To his credit, he did live like no one else.
He did. That's like a few glasses of sparkling water and a granola bar at Whole Foods, $150, man. And
the question is, he lived like no one else, but how long will he live? We just don't know. This is
live
bad.
like no one else for 11 months.
But it's sad, John. People are real desperate to pay off student loan debt, and I respect this guy's tenacity, his gazelle intensity.
Shout out to Dylan.
So big shout, Dylan. Call in with your story. We should have featured him in the Borrowed Future documentary. Followed him around Six Flags.
He's solving problems. I like that guy.
Yeah.
888-825-5225. Let's go to Jason in Pensacola. Hey, brother Jason, what's up?
Hey, what's up, guys? Y'all doing all right?
So good.
Outstanding, man. What's up? How can we help?
So my wife and I actually just moved from Gales area. We sold our house and used the proceeds to set up Roth IRAs, max them out for the year, pay off my truck, so we are now officially debt-free.
Awesome.
We've got some extra leftover money. We don't know what to do with it. We were told maybe mutual fund, possibly.
Okay.
But
tell me this. Do you have a 3 to 6 months emergency fund of expenses?
Yes, sir.
So you've got that.
We do.
Completely debt-free. You've already maxed out your Roth IRAs for the year?
Yes, and we set aside money for January to max out next year as well.
Jason!
Whoa. Dude, you guys are crushing it,
Getting it, man.
What's your household income?
Between 80 and 90.
Nice. And how much extra money are we talking do you have just sitting in cash?
In my account, probably about 44, and my wife's account, probably about 70.
Just sitting there in cash. How did you guys save up this much money, making 80 to 90?
My wife does not spend money.
Wow.
She's the saver. I'm the spender. She has trained me well in 7 years.
Before George answers, I'm going to say this. Or ask you this, why do you got 2 different accounts, man?
Because she was with Navy. We're joint owners on each other's. She didn't want to turn loose of Navy, and I didn't want to turn loose of my credit union because we both got pretty, really, really good returns, or not returns, annual APR yields.
On the savings account?
Over one on checking account, high yield checking.
So who's got the higher yield?
She gets 1.25. I get 1.7.
So let me tell you, for a quarter of a point or half of a point, it's not worth the marital discord. There will come a moment when one of you will spend something quietly or secretly, or I'll just cover it, or hey, I need you to pay for that, or I paid for it last time, I need you to pay for it. And that seed of dissension will grow and grow and grow. It's not worth it, man. Combine your money, y'all.
Why wouldn't she put her money into yours if it has a higher yield?
Because if I got access to it, like I said, she's a saver, I'm a spender.
There we go.
So she's worried you're going to spend the money.
Yes.
Dude, this is a
Jason.
much bigger problem.
Yes. Be a grown-up, Jason. Act like an adult.
I'm acting like an adult. I'm acting it.
All right, good. One checking account by the end of the weekend. All right, George, go for it.
So once we've got that, you're telling me you guys have $114,000 just sitting in a liquid savings account.
Yeah, well, they're between checking and savings, yes.
Wow. And that's some pretty impressive interest rate you have on there.
Yeah, and like we both have credit cards, but they're paid off regardless of the balance every month.
Jason, you're losing me, man. You're losing me. What's up with these credit cards?
Just for cash back. If I'm gonna spend the money,
dude,
whether it's off my debit card,
you make 90
or not,
grand and you have 114 sitting in cash. You can give yourself freaking cash back. What are we doing here, man? All right, to your question, investing this money, you can put it in mutual funds, you can put it in index funds to let this money grow if it's going to be 5 years or more, if you guys are looking to buy a house or something like that. But otherwise, just keep it in those accounts until you know what your next goal is. Don't go throwing it into the stock market and hope for the best.
Cut up your credit cards and get one account, Jason. Quit playing around with fire.
Still on baby step number 1, eh?
How'd you guess? With healthcare costs rising, learn how Christian Healthcare Ministries can help you make the most out of your budget. Visit chministries.org/budget.
Don't worry, it's worth it.
Triple-8 825-5225. I'm John Deloney, joined here by Ramsey personality George Campbell, taking your calls on money, on life, relationships, mental health, all of it. Let's go to John in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Hey, John, what's going on?
Hey, guys, how you doing today?
Outstanding, brother. What's up?
All right, well, actually, my call actually kind of ties into the last caller's thing. Pretty much my wife and I got married about 2 years ago. When we got married, we started baby steps, did all that, made it through. We're up on 4, 5, and 6 now, going through that.
Congratulations, man.
So, thank you very much. The problem that I run into now is we never did a honeymoon or anything like that, so I want to take her somewhere as a surprise. How do I do that since we have combined bank accounts and everything else, where I can withdraw the money to surprise her without doing it on a credit card or something like that?
Ooh, good question.
What kind of gift are we talking here? I mean, you don't have to tell me the gift on air in case she's listening.
Yeah, well, it's a trip. It's going to be airfare and everything else, something I can't do cash for. I got to be able to use our debit card to purchase the airline tickets and stuff like that. So,
sure. So what kind of budget do you have for this whole gift, all in?
The whole gift is probably, by the time we do meals and everything, excursions while we're there and everything else, probably about $2,000 to $2,500.
This is a serious gift, man.
Yep. Well,
wow.
We didn't do a honeymoon or anything else, so this is one of them excursions, big treat, because we don't treat ourselves. So here it is.
So have you guys agreed on what we think would be appropriate for a birthday gift as far as spending goes? Like, is this in the budget and she knows?
Yeah, it's in the budget. We've talked about something similar to this and everything else, and it was just going to jump and do it, but I don't know how to do it as a surprise aspect, seeing that we share the accounts.
Yeah.
Share that one account.
Well, there's a lot of ways to go about that to where you're not just using the debit card on that website to purchase the flight. I mean, you can do prepaid debit cards and things of that nature to where you could basically debit that money out, buy a prepaid debit card with it, and use that debit card to then make all the purchases for this gift. That would be the easiest way. I've
done a couple of these, John, and I've got a buddy, my buddy Todd, will I've bought some nice things. Even when I buy Christmas presents, I would send them to his house so that my wife and kids wouldn't have them. But
for a physical gift like that.
I had a buddy that would make the concert tickets purchase that I wanted to surprise my wife with and just exchange it back for that very reason there. So there was some ways around that. I would be careful about opening a secret account or something because, again...
Yeah, that's what I didn't want to do. We're very open, very honest with everything and have it all laid out there. And we'll sit down and go through the statement at the end of the month and make sure everything's budgeted out and appropriate that way. So I want to make sure...
But a good surprise is so great, man.
Yep.
It's so awesome.
Yeah.
Could you also just say, hey... I'm trying to do this big surprise.
Don't look.
Do not log in.
I wouldn't do that.
Just for a week.
Because if Whitney came to you and did that, you would look immediately.
100%.
Yes, exactly.
Looking under the Christmas tree.
Exactly.
Yeah, but like John said, and this is a trip, right? So you got to book a few things. There's some flights, hotels, things like that.
Correct. Yep.
Yeah, you could use a prepaid debit card to do something like all of that with no issue. So you shouldn't run into any problems if you do that. Now, you'd be getting an expensive card, so make sure that you can get one that has no to low fees. That's not, hey, we're going to take a percentage of the amount. But if it's, hey, $5 you're going to prepay to get this debit card that has $2,000 on it, then you're good to go. And you can use that, and she knows the money's coming out. She goes, all right, there's $2,000 that came out. What the heck is that? And you go, hey, it's a surprise. Yeah. I don't want the amount to surprise her.
Don't worry about it.
That's what I don't want her to go, whoa, hold on. You spent $2,000 on what now?
Yeah.
That part you can't really achieve.
Do what, Bob?
Sorry about that, what?
So are you wanting to hide the amount from her too?
She knows the amount, but I figure if I did the amount, it's going to be kind of obvious what's going on.
Of course.
So
yeah, get with a friend, get a prepaid card. The thing I would stay away from is opening up a secret account somewhere at a secret bank and siphoning money off, and that just feels like a step in the wrong direction there.
Yeah.
But I do love the idea of a good surprise.
That's fun, man. I'm pumped for that.
Yeah, good for you guys. All right, let's go to Cindy in Baltimore. What's up, Cindy?
Hello.
Hey, Cindy, what's up?
Hi, how are you?
Outstanding. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. And thank you for taking my call.
You got it. How can we help?
Okay. I have been given a financial gift from the passing of my parents.
Okay.
And I am trying to decide if I should pay off my townhouse or should I just keep the money in the bank because, in 10 years I'm going to be retiring and, moving out of state. So I don't know what to do. The townhouse, it's in a community I'm not real happy with. But, with the housing market and everything being so expensive, I'm not even entertaining the thought of a single-family home at this point. So I don't know if I should pay off the townhouse or not. And I'm really struggling with this.
I'm so sorry about the loss of your parents. When did they pass away?
My dad passed away in May of 2020, and then my mom passed away in January of 21.
Wow.
I'm sorry. That's a lot of loss in a short period of time. I'm so sorry.
It is. It really is.
Yeah. So you've got this. How much is the inheritance?
$230,000.
Would that clear your condo?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
What's left on the mortgage?
Well, we just refinanced for 15 years at 2.25. And we owe $130,000.
So you're still going to have $100,000 after you pay it off.
Yes.
I'm paying that thing off today.
Yeah.
I know. See, you get all this feedback from people like, no, don't do that. Go ahead and put all that money, and invest it. And I'm like, I know, but I listen to you guys every morning at 6 a.m. I'm at my job. You're on the radio, on my phone, I mean. And
thank you
I love
for that.
It.
So here's the truth, Cindy. There's a possibility that there is a mathematical return that would be higher than the APR you just refinanced for. That's true.
Okay.
There is an incalculable amount of non-APR money, I guess I'm trying to say, for being able to wake up tomorrow and owe nobody anything. And the way I look at the gift your parents left you, they were great stewards of their money. They were great stewards of their daughter who they loved. They thought highly of you, left this money for you. And so you can look at it as they left me $230,000. That's one way to look at it. Another way to look at it is my parents' parting gift to me was freedom. I owe nobody anything. I can take this neighborhood and tell them to shove it if I want to. I can pack up and move if I want to. I don't have to pay anybody anything ever again if I want to. And that to me is worth a potential 5% return against this 2.5%. Does that make sense?
Oh, absolutely. And like I said, the only thing that's been holding me back is I'm not real fond. Of the neighborhood. The house is worth more than what's owed on it. It's actually gone up.
That's fine. It doesn't matter if you love the townhome. Do you love the payment? And so you can use all that money in equity when you go to sell it and get you something else. So I like the idea of you getting free today. What an awesome way to use that inheritance. And you're still going to have $100,000 left over. And by the way, that mortgage payment you are making plus interest, you can now use to invest.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Ta-da.
You're in baby step 7 where you can build wealth and give like no one else and do all kinds of things without a mortgage payment over your head.
Cindy, if you were going to move in a year, in 2 years, we would tell you to hang on. If you're gonna be there for 10 years, pay it off. Because who knows what the world's gonna look like in 10 years. So pay it off. Wake up this weekend completely debt-free.
Walk in that grass. Let the toes dangle out there.
They're gonna be asking, why is Cindy making snow angels in the middle of the grass? Because she's free. Be free. Solve for freedom. This is The Ramsey Show.
If you're considering a career in technology, I recommend Bethel Tech, and I'm not alone. Here's what Brendan said. Before Bethel Tech, I was driving Uber. Within 4 months of graduating, I got a job paying $60,000. About 2 years after that, I got a remote job that pays me $130,000, all thanks to what I learned at Bethel Tech. You could be next. Get started today at BethelTech.net and get $1,000 to $2,500 off of your tuition. Again, it's BethelTech.net/Ken Coleman.
This is The Ramsey Show, and we are back and on the debt-free stage. We have Michael and Ricky. It's so good to see you. We know you're here for one reason.
What was that?
To announce you're debt-free, right? Congratulations.
Of course. Thank you.
Congratulations. So where are you in from?
We are from Elkhart, Indiana.
Beautiful. Love it, love it, love it.
Awesome. So tell us the story. How much have you guys paid off?
Well, our total debt is just a little under $210,000.
Wow.
$210,000?
All over 10 years, yes.
Wow. So $210,000 paid off in 10 years.
In about 10 years, yeah. A little less, 9 years and 9 years and 10 months. 10 years is close.
Journey, man. You guys have been on a marathon. So what was the range of income during this time?
Well, when we started out, we were bringing home around $50K. I work as a nurse. I was making $20 an hour, and I live on overtime. So as you can figure from being a nurse.
Crushing it for a long time.
So it was hanging around $50K for the 10 years?
No, $50K was the starting point. Our last one, our ending point was around $90K last year, because at that time I was up into the mid 30s.
Way
and
to
again,
go.
able to go over that because I live on overtime. My don't think I've worked less than 50 hours in 10 years.
Wow.
Way to go. So, tell us about this debt. What was this $210,000?
Well, the $210,000 is actually broken down between my wife's student loan debt and
Hey, I brought a bunch to my marriage, so good for you.
and the houses that we had. Our first.
Whoa!
Yes, we're no house payment.
Houses,
we are
plural?
Multiple?
Well, we went through 2 houses.
Okay.
Like a starter house. Like we bought our first house and we were there for 3 years, and then we moved and upgraded to a larger house, and that's the house we have now. So we sold the first one and
Wow.
put all that equity towards the second mortgage we had, and now it's all gone.
That's incredible.
Y'all are officially weird people.
Yeah.
We are.
What is this house worth?
You know, honestly, with the way the home prices are, I have no idea what it is. We paid, what was it, $150 for it?
We paid $150 for it. It should be worth somewhere around $175,000, maybe
Wow.
$200 by the time we're all done with all the upgrades that need to be done.
That's incredible.
So what got you started on this journey 10 years ago?
Well, actually, I started the journey over 10 years ago.
Okay.
And my story is a little bit different. With my story, I had come back down to Indiana and because of an identity theft issue in my senior year of engineering school. It took me about 10 years to go through that. In the meantime, though, however, I heard about this crazy guy that hated creditors even more than I was learning to hate creditors during that time. So I got involved with that, started paying off my own debts, found my beautiful wife, insisted that she take Financial Peace University and go through the course before we got married.
He paid for it for me because I was in college at the time.
What a romantic guy.
What was your thought when this guy's insisting that you go through this course?
I was open to it. I was like, I'm pretty good with money. And he's like, well, there's some really cool stuff though about how to like long-term goals and everything. And he's like, I'll pay for it for you. I'm like, okay, well, if you pay for it, why not?
Like a true gentleman.
Put your money where your mouth is. All right.
That is so
That's a guy
awesome.
who loves you, and that's a woman who definitely loves you. Excellent.
So, 10 years, $210,000. What were some of those sacrifices along the journey that you guys had to make, especially in such a long period of time to stay motivated?
Well, we have always wanted to do an international vacation. He wants to go to Japan someday, and I want to go to Australia and Europe someday. And a lot of people are like, let's go do that for the honeymoon. And that's one thing we sacrificed. We've never done that international trip that we've always wanted to, and now we can, and we're going to do it in a couple of years.
Awesome.
All right.
We were going to actually do it for our celebration for paying off our mortgage, but I had a baby 4 months ago. So there's okay, well, now we got to put that off for 2 years because I can't leave a 4-month-old for 3 weeks with somebody. So.
A baby's pretty much a vacation, right?
Of course.
Oh.
Spoken like a guy who has no kids. Yes. No.
Vacation with no sleep.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
Exactly.
So, did you have any cheerleaders along the way in a decade of doing this stuff?
Yeah, Kevin and Sarah, they went through the class and they understood why we wanted to do this plan and what our goal was, and they're doing it too. They're a couple steps behind us, but they are definitely our biggest supporters is Kevin and Sarah. That's our brother and sister. So.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. Wow,
Did anyone think you were crazy over this period of time going, wow, these people are just in this thing for the long haul, they drank the Kool-Aid?
A couple immediate family members were like, well, why don't you just, they're like, why don't you just go on vacation and have fun? Or a comment of you don't need to be that intense. You're only, at the time they're 28 or whatever when the comment was made. It's you're only 28. Go do something fun. You don't have to pay off your house right away. And it was well, they just didn't understand.
And how old are you two now?
I'm 33.
I was born in 79, so
he's 42.
I'm not that old.
He's making us do math, John. Search my brain.
Yeah,
wow.
He's 42.
I'm 33 and he's 42.
So you're a 33-year-old and a 42-year-old with a paid-off house.
Yes.
No debt in the world.
Nope. No one can take our house from us ever.
A $90,000 a year income, and that's only because you work a whole lot.
Yes, that'll probably be leveling out a little bit below so that I can have a life.
Yes, exactly.
I did work some through that 10 years, so.
Of course you did.
I spent 4 years teaching throughout that time period.
Oh, wow.
1 year we made $120 when I was teaching, and that was a one-time year.
And you grew a couple of humans, right?
Yep.
Congratulations.
two girls. So.
You have
so
changed
awesome.
your family tree. I'm so proud of you two.
So how does it feel? No mortgage payment, nothing.
feels really good.
Yeah.
It's really nice because like COVID hit, like last year, and the one thing I never thought would happen is they sent nurses home. They said, you'll come back when we call you back, and he was unemployed for a month, and I was unemployed for a month.
Oh, wow.
And we had our fully funded, emergency fund, and so it's like knowing we were like really close at that point. Like it wasn't paid off last year when COVID hit, but we were really close.
Yeah.
So it was like knowing that we were going to be okay. We had the emergency fund. We were really good with our money, making good decisions, and so not having a payment anymore has allowed us to do things like take FMLA off and stay home with our baby. And instead of actually not meeting budget 1 month, because it was just PTO, no overtime for 5 weeks. Instead of having to pull money out of our emergency fund, we met budget because we didn't have a mortgage payment anymore.
Oh, it's incredible.
Options. That's what it gives you. Options and freedom.
Exactly.
Look at you guys. And a vacation coming up.
A vacation.
Which is awesome.
In both Australia and Japan. Quick and easy flights from Indiana, right?
Yeah,
sure.
just a puddle jump.
Wow. You guys are awesome. Thanks so much for being all the way down here in Nashville to do your debt-free scream.
And you've got two little ones. You want to bring them up?
Yeah. Eliora.
So we got Eliora and Adonaiah.
Yes.
Let's meet them. We got one that's a long ways off. Long ways off. Well, while we get them up here, we've got a copy of The Legacy Journey for you. That's absolutely the next step. You're already living that. You're changing these little girls' legacy.
Oh, it's okay.
And we also have a copy of the Total Money Makeover for you to pass along to someone else. Maybe another young couple who's going, you know what? We'd love to have a paid-for house one day and go to Australia and Japan. So thank you so much for being here. You guys are an absolute inspiration. You guys ready to scream?
All right, so we got Michael and Ricky from South Bend, Indiana, paid off $210,000, making $50,000 to $90,000 over the course of almost a decade. You did it, you did it, you did it. Count them down.
Ready to go, Leora? 3, 2, 1.
We are debt free!
That little girl right there with that big old smile on her face, she's never going to forget this moment.
And that other little girl who is 3 or 4 months old.
Just happy to be here.
Will never know debt.
She'll never know that she was even here, but she'll never know debt either.
Oh, they'll show her the video a whole bunch of times.
It's on YouTube forever, right?
That's right.
Oh, boy.
We're so proud of you two. Congratulations. Change your life. Start today. Today's scripture of the day is 2 Corinthians 4:17 through 18. For our light and momentary troubles are achieving for us an eternal glory that far outweighs them all. So we fix our eyes not on what is seen, but on what is unseen. Since what is seen is temporary, but what is unseen is eternal. Marie Curie says, one never notices what has been done. One can only see what remains to be done. Marie Curie. All right, let's go to Ian in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. What is going on, Ian?
Hi, guys. How are you?
Outstanding. How are you, man?
I'm doing good. I feel like I accomplished one of the greatest things in getting through the phone screening process today, so I'm really pumped about that.
Hey, Kelly is really tough to get through, man. So yes, you have achieved something great.
John and George, I guess I wanted to share. So I'm a 36-year-old permanently disabled police officer from Wisconsin. So I my injuries are all mental health. I have a really debilitating form of OCD and depression.
Yep.
That kind of came about 2 years ago, and were really triggered by a lot of the stuff that I dealt with at the police department. I spent a lot of time at Rogers Behavioral Health. But after kind of getting to a point where I can manage everything, I got a full retirement, a disability. And 2 days ago, I found out I'm getting the National Chiefs of Police Association Purple Heart Award.
Excellent, brother.
So I wanted to share that with you guys.
Congratulations, man.
One, because thank you, because you guys talk a lot about mental health on the show, and I listen to it every day. But had I not followed the baby steps, even with a really great retirement package, I don't have to worry about finances.
Awesome.
Because I follow those baby steps, and I think it's important that people, you never know what's going to happen when you're 36, and being on baby step. What am I on? Is it 4, 5, 6? I'm going to pay off my house next year.
All right. Very good, man.
No other debt beside that. So, I just think it's important that people know, hey, anything can happen. And had I not been following you guys, it probably would have added more stress to, an already traumatic 2 years. So I wanted to say thank you to you guys, and thank you to Dave and all the listeners. Because, it made the financial part of my life a lot easier, so I could deal with the mental health stuff.
Well, Ian, I want to, my dad was a police officer, and I've spent a lot of time working with police officers and shown up to a number of those scenes that will be in my head for the rest of my life, and I know you've been there too. And so I want to personally thank you. And George, we want to thank you for your service, for taking care of folks in the middle of the night when nobody else in your community even knows you're out there. And I want you to not give up on Ian, okay?
Right.
There's healing on the other side of this, and you've got a journey ahead of you, but we've got full confidence in you. Thank you so much for calling in and for the shout-outs. But as we always say here, man, me and George are just, and Dave, we're just talking on the radio. You're the one that put the hard work in. You did the hard work, and you changed your family's trajectory, man. And I'm just so grateful for you. Thank you so much.
I appreciate that. Thank you, guys.
You got it, brother. Take care of yourself. Take care of your family, and good for your community for taking care of you.
Awesome.
The last 18 months have been a lot. Haven't they, George?
They have.
Somebody earlier mentioned a pandemic, which I hadn't.
That happened. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. A lot of worry. A lot of wondering what would happen next. Maybe it's how you feel about your money, too. Tired, stuck, stretched thin. Or you are like Ian, who just, man, it is starting to really pile up on you. And you're tired of worrying about money, too. It doesn't have to be that way. You just need a plan, because a plan gives you confidence even when everything else seems out of control. And that plan is Financial Peace University. This class will teach you everything you need to know to save money, pay off your debt, build wealth for the future. You can stream the lessons on your own or get support by going through the class with others. I like to support. I'm that guy. You're more of a streamer guy.
No, I'm a big fan of the support side, though.
Are you?
Being around real people and being able to have hard discussions and going, oh, I'm not crazy. I'm not alone. You too. That's so huge. That's something you don't get from streaming it. So I will say, if you can do it in a group, do that.
Then you'll put up that plan into practice with the premium version of our Every Dollar budgeting app, which I use, my wife uses. Y'all use that too at home?
Big fan.
By syncing your bank to your budget, you can easily track your spending and see where your money goes. You get all of this only with the Ramsey Plus membership. Don't stay exhausted and overwhelmed. You can win with money, and it starts with your free trial of Ramsey Plus. Text TRIAL to 33789. That's TRIAL to 33789. Let's take one more call. Let's go to Gabriella in Oakland, California. Hey, what's going on?
Hi, I'm calling about a leased vehicle that I have.
Awesome.
And I just want to say thank you for all of your help and your advice.
You got it. Hey, we're coming up against the clock here. I want to make sure we get this in before the show rolls over. So get right to the question.
So I have a 2020 Chevy Bolt, and I'm trying to buy it out. But because there's a recall on the battery, they will not sell the car to me, and I'm stuck making the payments. And if I'm trying to get out of the lease, I'll have to continue to pay the rest of the lease amount.
So
there's no current fix on the vehicle, and that's available. And I just don't know what to do. And I was wondering if you guys came upon this before, and if there's anything I can do to get out of the lease or purchase a vehicle.
So they won't let you do an early buyout because of the recall, and they're saying there's no fix for the recall.
There's no fix for the recall right now that's available.
I've never heard that in my life. I thought, are you holding a lease contract that says or a buyout option?
I don't know.
I would go back and look at your lease contract
a year ago.
Yeah, I'd go back and look at your lease contract and say, because it should say, here's the lease and or here's the buyout option. And if they are not allowing you to buy it out, then they're in breach of the contract.
Okay.
Have you gotten details on what the parameters are around this, or is the dealership just giving you a hard time, or the company, or is this legit?
As far as I know, I've looked online at some other people who own the vehicle, and they said they've had a difficult time doing it. There's been a few people who said that they've been able to, just calling back and bugging them, but I've contacted the finance company, I've contacted the dealership, and they're just telling me, and then they gave me a number that I could file a complaint about it, but that was it.
Have you gone down to speak to somebody in person?
No, I was on my way to do that, and they asked me not to come in because there was nothing they would be able to do.
Yeah, of course they did. So I would get a copy of the lease contract and highlight the portion that is the buyout option. It may have a clause in there that says if there's a recall, you can't buy it out. This sounds real fishy to me. I've never heard of this. Now, I've never leased a car either, but I've never heard of somebody being trapped inside of a contract this way, and then the owner of the contract that has the buyout option cancels the buyout option.
I'm going to fight them and go, I'm going to raise some hell until they let me break this lease with no penalties, because they have to provide a safe vehicle for you.
Yeah.
And so if that's the case, they've got to come up with a solution. This isn't on you when the recall is just floating in the air and you're stuck here with a car that has a recall on it. So I'm going to fight them. I'm going to show up every day until they go, we got to get this lady out of here, man. Fine, we'll buy it out, whatever you need to do. So is the value of the car more than you owe? What's going on there?
No, it's about the same.
Okay, so it'd be a pretty even break, and you can pay cash for a car, save up, and do that later on. Yeah, I'm fighting them. Don't give up.
All right, I want to thank producer James Child and associate producer Kelly Daniel. George, it's always fun to hang out with you.
Blast.
Thanks for being on the show with me. Thanks for letting me be on your show today.
Thank you.
It's been great. In
Good
America,
luck to the Astros.
Take care of yourselves. Be kind to one another, and we'll see you soon on The Ramsey Show.
Hey guys, this is James, senior producer for The Ramsey Show. Did you know over 18 million people listen to The Ramsey Show every week? And a lot of those people listen on one of our 600 plus radio stations across the country. To find a station near you, head to theramseyshow.com.